Hi guys, contractions versus spasticity. So I was just working with a little girl today. Live didn't go so well. She saw Dad with the camera and just lost. So, but she's just starting to walk, and so I'm going to go over that. Actually, going to put it into the reflex class what I'm working on there. But anyway, when you're working with a child that is still trying to go between the transitioning skills and using muscle-based influences. So what people see is a contractions that are various spots of the body. So like in her case, so for her not wanting to come back and come over, and I think this is where I need to pull out my table and do a bit more table work, but she's contracting the toes, and because she's sitting on the back of her pelvis. So so people see the contraction of the toes, and what she's doing is, well, she doesn't want to go back any further. So she's contracting her toes so she doesn't go back any further. And this is why I like to see a video, or where I'm working with someone, I need to see how that person is organizing their movements. I don't care if it's you or your child. And so with the way that they're organizing their movements, shows me their cognitive and all that. So she's really smart that she doesn't want to go back any further, that she's contracting her toes. So, but again, you have to watch it, because when you're not working with movement lesson, a lot of people see the exterior, the spasticity, and that's what they call it, is spasticity versus contractions, right? And so they might see, oh, her feet are just too spastic. That's a sign of CP. Again, traditional would be AFOs, SMOs, or let's say Botox to go after that. But when you go after it structurally based and not seeing that she's using it for contractions, then now you're preventing the balance that she's using. You should be balancing through your pelvis, but what she's balancing is balancing back through the feet being contractured. Now, one of the things I showed when I was evaluating it is again, I can just easily manipulate the toes so they're not spastic, right? They're still in a very immature but active passive phase of muscles. And again, she doesn't do this all the time. When she sits up, the feet in a sense relax. She's not using the feet for balance, right? So with babies, this is why your gravitational based milestones, especially when you're learning the lying down, the tummy time, the absolute horizon, and then going into the rolling over, and you start getting vertical. We don't have a center balance. It's not like around our belly button. If I'm like this, my sense of balance is off due to all of those kind of things. It's a cellular level that happens, but it's also at a muscular level. But you don't want the muscles to be kicking in for balance, because it should be at a cellular level. And so yes, muscle cells, but I get it. But it should be, again, like ice cubes. I don't have ice cubes in my glass, but again, there's always a level of balance that comes into play. Now, this is an inanimate object; it's not biological stuff, so it's a tad different, but still, it's an illustration. But when you're looking at where a child is going into, spasticity is do I have control? Right? Am I just doing it just to be spastic? And is it more due to an external source, or if it's due to an internal? Usually it's due to an internal source of inabilities to regulate the movements. Contractions tend to be a response to an external. So in other words, if I go on a skateboard, I might show contractions that I don't typically have in standing, because I'm now on a skateboard, and I might do that. Don't call it a moro. It's not. It's an intelligence that has to come with balance. And for whatever reason, if I don't have balance, my muscles like to go tight. If I don't have balance, your muscles should go loose. But the subconscious form of balance and lack of balance is the tightness. It affects our breathing. It affects a lot of our muscles, different muscles into our system. So when you're going through those things, that's what you're looking at. So by all means, when you have a child that's developmentally delayed, and you really have to understand the difference between a contraction and spasticity. So again, a spasticity, you really have to find, again, that internally that they don't have a cellular sense of balance. A contraction, again, they have a sense of balance, but it doesn't mean that it's working it could be a very immature level, and that's where you're looking at contractions.